Welcome to Chris Horner's Corner for all your cycling how-to needs. Today, I'm talking about winter clothing. That's super important stuff that allows you to go out training from day to day in the cold winter. We're late November already right now, so it's a perfect time to talk about it. If you like what you're seeing, make sure you like and subscribe also so we keep the video content coming your way and keep it exciting and fresh. Okay, most important winter stuff that I like to wear. I'm going to start off. If you remember anything from this video, remember these arm warmers and leg warmers. They're made by Vermark. They're compression tights, leg warmers and arm warmers, and they're absolutely amazing, like second skin. Now, throughout my career, I've been wearing these since 2009. I buy them. I pay full retail for them. I'm not sponsored by Vermark. They know who I am when I send in my order, and they say thanks a lot, and I get paid. I have to pay the full bill. That's how much I like them. And they're expensive. They're about $60 for the leg warmers, a little bit less for the arm warmers, I believe. So I really like them. Folks, these things are amazing. When you put them on, you can wear them easily down to 30 degrees. But what I really like about them is because of Bend, Oregon weather, where the temperature's changing from the morning. I'm doing a 4, 5, 6 hour rides at times when I was professional, so that I had to have extreme weather changes. I could still be wearing these at 65, 75 degrees out, and they're still comfortable, and you're always warm. Very nice leg warmers and arm warmers. Folks, go out and get a pair of these. Try at least one. You can hate me if you dislike it, but I've never known anyone to try these that disliked them other than the price. They are expensive. Vermark compression, leg warmers, arm warmer tights. Okay, keep that in mind. That's the most important thing. Next I want to talk about are the gloves. These are made by Prologo. These things are great down to about 45 degrees. They don't come with a bunch of padding in the gloves. So if you like a bunch of padding here so your hands aren't getting numb or something, they don't have that. But what they do have is an amazing grip. They're pretty thin, but they have these gripper things here on the palms that will grab the bars and your levers so that you're not slipping off if you're getting wet or something like that. Also, they're fabulous, easily down to 50, down to 45. I think they're still good. Once it gets colder than that, they got a little flip out thing that you just flip through, and you can go drop down the descent and get a little, even more of a wind blocker right there, so it'll drop the temperature even further. These are amazing. They're some of my favorite gloves that I've ever used, and they work for most temperatures. When it got really nasty, and sometimes here in Bend, when we're getting down into the 20s and the real low 30s, I'd go to a pair of Aso Gloves here. I tried to look online to find these exact ones. I couldn't. I'll give you a link to what I think is probably the closest to these, but this is more of about 20 to probably 35 degrees. If it gets much warmer than 40, these things are actually too hot. You're just going to sweat in them and stuff, and they're too warm. So it has to be cold where you're at, and it has to be cold all day long. Otherwise, they're actually going to be too warm. But for here in Bend, once we get in the winter, it could stay 25 all day long, some of those long days when I was out training. So these worked great for that. But the Prologo gloves actually were ones I'd wear out. These I've had since 2014, I believe, and they're still not worn out. So that's how rare I would use these gloves. If I was spending money, I'd definitely go with the Prologos first because you'll use them all the time. And maybe one pair of these would do the trick for sure. Now, shoe covers. These Velo Toes are absolutely amazing, and the only thing I hate about the Velo Toes at all was the fact that I didn't actually start using them until my last year as a professional. Didn't know they existed. Teammate showed them to me. I tried them on. I thought he was joking. We were up in Canada. It was probably 35 and downpouring rain. I'd lost my rain bag. I'd left it actually at the last race hotel. But at the time, I didn't know where it was. My teammate gave these to me, told me to try them out. He said they were fabulous. All it is just a rubber material. It is amazing in the rain. And if it's really cold, folks, it's got to be really cold to put these on. Otherwise, they're too warm. They work amazing in the rain, though. I mean, amazing. And the only downside with these actually is that they're limited on how long they're going to last. You put them on, they're difficult to put on, but once you're in them, you're solid, no problem. They're super aerodynamic and they're very warm. But when you take them off, you're probably, I would say maybe 5. They're good for about 5 times, but they're probably only 15, 20 bucks anyways. So you save them for those really bad days and bring them out then. Velo Toes, though, did an amazing job with these. Super. I wish I would have found them sooner in my career. Now the only problem is that I won't wear them that much, because if it's that bad of weather, I'm going to stay home. But if it gets really nasty, Velo Toes is the way to go. They do make a helmet cover too, which works fantastic also for the rain and all that stuff. In general, when it's 45, 50 degrees, I prefer for the shoe covers just to use a WinTech material. These happen to be Vermark, but you can get them from anybody. Most of the cycling companies make them. It's just a WinTech material to go over your foot, over your shoes. Easy on, easy off. They last forever, at least a few seasons and stuff. This is a great way to go for your normal, everyday cold weather stuff. The Velo Toes you use for the extreme nasty stuff. But one of my favorites, like I said many times already. Now, a beanie. If you got hair, it's different. When you're bald like myself, your head is always cold. So the beanie is super important. But I want to point out a couple things about the beanie. You want them to drop down on the side, and you want them to cover the ears. Preferably, these are made by Louis Garneau. You want a little bit of WinTech material on the front here, covering right here. But you don't want WinTech material going over the ears. You just want some kind of cloth material going over the ears. If you go with the WinTech material over the ears, it's warmer, but the problem is it makes an echo sound. And when you're riding in a group, it's hard to talk with the person next to you if you have some kind of hard shell wind blocker covering your ears. So keep that in mind. You want just something soft to go over your ears. It'll keep them a little bit warmer, but you could hear the person if you're training next to you. If you have that WinTech material, it's kind of that echoey noise, and it's very difficult to hear riders next to you, or even the traffic for that matter. So I always like the beanie that would drop down, cover the ears, of course get over the forehead, but it still has to be thin enough to wear underneath your cycling helmet. Okay, now let's get on to some important stuff here, like the undershirts. Your basic undershirt, I preferred with the sleeves, with just the short sleeve. A lot of people will wear them cut off, but I didn't like that material because I could feel it cold right here. Where your arm warmers would come up, it would stop right here. I'd feel that this part of my shoulder always being cold. So I preferred having the short sleeve here on most of my undershirts. This was great for anything 50 degrees and up to about 65, 70 even when I'm training. I don't normally or almost never wear an undershirt when I'm racing because I can't remove it when the race gets going really fast and hard and you start heating up. So not never, but it's pretty rare for me to have an undershirt on when I was racing. But training, I loved them. These are made by Kraft, and they did an exceptional job, and they still do. Every generation, they kind of change their undershirts some, and so you won't be able to find exactly what I'm showing you here, but I've looked online, and I can show you what's really, really close, and I'll post that up, of course. Their normal undershirt, though, like I said, 50 and above is pretty good for that. Then they make an undershirt with a wind block material here, and this is when you start getting below that 50-degree temperature, and you know it's going to stay that way for most of the day. When you start going with the wind block undershirt, though, you want to make sure the temperature's not going to go up. Once you start going up over 50, and you're going to be out there training hard or something, this will overheat. You'll get wet, gets nasty. Then you always want to try to stay dry. Being dry is the way you stay warm. If you put something like this on, you go up a big climb, you sweat the whole time going up the climb, now you're wet, you're going to be freezing going down. Amazing undershirt. Make sure it's 45 and below though. Certainly if you get over 50, you're going to have problems when you're wearing this undershirt, but it's great for the extreme cold weather. This will take you down into the low 40s. And when it starts getting really nasty, I'll go with the undershirt with the wind blocker, and I'll go full long sleeve, and I'll pair that up with basically a Gore-Tex jacket. So this will replace my jersey. I won't even wear a jersey. I'll go with this undershirt right here and go with the jacket. But it has to stay cold all day, and I mean really cold. You got to be in the 30s. Once you start getting above 40, you're going to overheat in this particular outfit. And again, once you overheat, you're sweating, and then you're going to be cold in places and times that you don't want to be. So the jacket here also happens to be made by Vermark, but again, all the cycling companies make a WindTech jacket. Pair it up with your wind cover undershirt from Kraft, and this is a very nice for cold weather connection. Now, most of the time, like I said, in Bend, because the temperature is going up and down, I prefer not to go with the WindTech jacket because once it warmed up, I just start sweating underneath it and it got really nasty. Then you're cold and miserable. What I'd usually prefer is I do a Kraft undershirt with either the wind vest if it's really cold, say around 40 and up. Then I'll do a normal jersey. Then I'll do this particular jacket's made by Louis Garneau, but you can find these again from other companies too. Louis Garneau did this. It was great. It's super thin, rolls up and fits into my center pocket in the back of my jersey. So when the temperature comes up, I can take this off, throw it in my pocket. When I climb up to the top of the 12-mile climb, and now all of a sudden you're at 7,000 feet and it's cold up there, you can pull it out, put it back on for the descent. It is a rain jacket also, at least rain repellent. It works really good for a first hour or two of rain. Doesn't work for that 6 hours of rain. It's better than nothing, but there's other rain jackets out there that are more specific for rain. This one from Louis Garneau is great for a sprinkle rain or a short time in rain, but it's fantastic because you can put it on, take it off. So this I really liked at that 45 degree temperature when you thought that day could get warmer throughout the day at different moments. Taking something on and off is really the secret to enjoying your training ride. Okay, I was really small. At my size, I weighed 137 to 145 pounds throughout my career, so I didn't put out a lot of heat. So a lot of the fans at home, when you're watching this, a lot of the viewers at home, when you're watching this, bigger guys, you're going to put out more heat, right? So all the temperatures that I'm giving you you have to adjust for your fitness of riding and for your terrain of riding, of course. And most important is your size. A bigger guy puts out more heat. So maybe you're riding with your wife and she weighs 115 pounds. You're a guy that weighs 180 pounds. You're going to put out more heat than she will. So your clothing needs to be adaptive. You need to be able to put it on and take it off versus your wife is so small, she may never take any clothes off throughout the whole ride because she's not sweating like the bigger people would be. And her temperature is never as warm as what a full-size male would be putting out. So keep that in mind. You got to adjust your temperature. Don't take the numbers just from my numbers that I gave you. Adjust accordingly to what works for you. But keep it in mind. The most important thing with cycling is being able to take on clothes and put clothes back on when you're going up and down hills. Hope you enjoyed the content today. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys real soon.